You can take me now. I have seen it all. I have seen everything.
We are back. It's finals football. It's round 25. We're almost there. We're at the pointy end of the season. 7 of the 8 positions are wrapped up. There's one more position up for grabs. It's going to be the Broncos or the Raiders. But Baxter, we will jump straight into it. We'll pop it up on the screen right there. Obviously, we have the Parramatta side with Clint Gufferson, Marcus Sivo, Will Penasini, Tom Opposich, Wacka Blake, Dylan Brown, Mitchell Moses, Regan Campbell-Gillard, Reid Mahoney, Junior Paulo, Shane Lane, Isaiah Papali'i, Ryan Madison, Makesi Makatoa, Jake Arthur, Oregon Kafusi, Marata Nikora, and Afagi Ogden. Strong side. It's unchanged. Obviously, the 17-man squad from last game against Brisbane. They are aiming for a top 4 spot. I'll pop the Storm team up there for you to go through. There it is. Take it away.
Nick Meaney. You got Nick Meaney in the fullback. You got David Nofaluma. You got Marison Seavey, Justin Olam, Xavier Coates, Cameron Munster and Hughes in the halves. Bromwich and Nelson are Solomona, who gets off lightly in the pack. Harry Grant, the hooker. Khalees Kafusi, Kenny Bromwich, Josh King make the pack. Brandon Smith, Tua Khalifa, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Trent Lorio, Chris Lewis, and young T, I'm going to call him at the 18. Sounds out the bench. It looks great. It looks a great team. Look, it's a great side. Give it that. But my English and pronunciation sucks.
Well, listen. Obviously, there are some names in there that are tough from both sides. Before we do jump into our prediction on what our thoughts are on this game, obviously we had some massive views over last weekend. It was brilliant to see. We had about 30 new subscribers. So if you're one of those new subscribers, welcome. If you haven't subscribed, then you're listening to this because there was about 9,000 people that listened to our videos last weekend. Just hit the subscribe button. Do us a favor. Help us grow. But Baxter, 2 very, very strong sides. I look at this Melbourne squad and I go, wow, the only difference obviously is Tom Eisenhuth's season is over, obviously, from that tackle from Lindsay Collins. Again, Collins has 4 weeks, so both their seasons could arguably be over. Chris Lewis, obviously, is a new man on the bench. Kafusi returns back into the starting side. Josh King, he's named at lock. Brandon Smith on the interchange. That's the only thing I could potentially see changing come game day. But what are your thoughts? Do you think Brandon Smith starts? And then obviously, who do you think gets the points? Because this has a massive ramification on who finishes where in that top 4.
I don't believe Brandon Smith starts. I like him coming off this bench and becoming this sort of stocky forward with sort of a little bit of footwork there. He's been playing really good in the back end of the season after his suspension for the referee incident. This side needs to win to get top 4. A loss, depending on how many points, gives them 5th. I think just having a quick look at it, you got Storm with a 255.
Storm will finish 5th. If they lose, they will finish 5th. If the Eels lose, they can finish as low as 6th.
Well, it depends on how many points. It depends how many points they lose by and how many points the Roosters win by. Because as I was just saying, Storm at 255, Roosters at 191. So it's not that far away. It's around the 60-point differential. But let's just say Storm lose by 30, and you put 30 on South.
That's a big if. That's a very big if.
You could jump to, you could jump to 5th. And then you sort of avoid Melbourne until the grand final if you both end up making it there. So that would be a really good outcome for you guys. And obviously, with these guys playing Thursday night, you should mathematically know how many points, if they do lose, which I think they will, how many points you need to sort of steal 5th if you can.
Well, I mean, I know who you're going for now. I am backing Melbourne to win this game, but I've got an interesting one for you. Obviously, we all know when we get into it, the Cowboys should win that game. Panthers have rested a lot of players. So here's a fun fact for you. You win this game, you don't get a home final. You lose this game, you get a home final. So there's the reward both ways. It's a bit of a weird one to say, but I'm going Melbourne. I'm going 1-12. I think they're going to have way too much firepower from obviously Hughes, Munster, Nofaluma, Olam, Coates. They're just going to have way too much power, Meany at fullback. And I think they are going to get the Eels in a very close game. But what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, sorry, this Parramatta squad looks strong. I'm just going to back them to win because it's at Commbank Stadium. They love to play there. They love the good win. They've gotten over Melbourne already early on this season, so I think it's another win for Parramatta here, and they get 4 and they can play Penrith week 1 and they can beat them at what do you call it, the foot of the mountains there.
Well, I mean, it will be an interesting one because obviously if the Eels were to win on Thursday night, they jump into 4th. It would mean that if the Roosters can't overcome that deficit set by obviously Melbourne, we're looking at a Roosters versus Rabbits in the first round of semi-final. So it's looking like it's going to be back-to-back now.
And if
everything
it's going to happen. With that as well, you have Melbourne playing Canberra down in Melbourne, another voodoo for Melbourne.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, they do have a great squad. Sean Lane on that Panthers squad does shine out. He's been absolutely Panthers on that Para squad. He's been absolutely brilliant, but it's obviously going to be a cracking game. I'm interested to see how this one goes. But Baxter, thank you for joining me, and we will be back to cover a less interesting game, but the first Friday night game, which will be the Bulldogs taking on the Seagulls.
Have you done your predictions? Have we done our predictions? 13 plus or 1-12?
I've got 1-12. I've gone 1-12 Storm.
I'm going 13 plus Parramatta. Just the purely fact I don't want to see Storm in the top 4. Sorry, it is just like I want to see it happen. But it would be good to see Melbourne play Penrith there in week 1 and beat Penrith.
Well, I think if you, I'm going to ask this as a Cowboys fan, and we were about to wrap up, but we'll go for a little bit longer. As a Cowboys fan, now, Parramatta have proven they can beat Penrith. What Storm have proven that if they beat Penrith or if they lose to Penrith, they're going to beat the living daylights out of them. So for me, I don't know about you, but I would prefer Storm to go there, beat the living daylights out of them, hopefully pull an upset, and then you've got a battered, a bruised Penrith side going into the round 2 in a knockout game against, technically it could be the Roosters, it could be the Rabbits, it could be Parramatta, it could be the Raiders. Like a battered side, they could get done.
Well, let's just say Melbourne finish 4th and they beat Penrith. If we've got Sharks and we lose, whoever we play the next week and we win, we come up a rested Melbourne Storm side down in Melbourne.
Melbourne is shit, mate. Don't worry about it.
I am afraid of Melbourne down in Melbourne because they can turn it on. They can turn up. They can prove it to us why they've been the dominant side for the last 20 years. It's hard to say, so we'll just have to wait and see. And maybe next week we have a better view of the finals.
Well, obviously, just quickly, obviously the team, it does get a bit messy, obviously, who plays who. So I think it's who you guys come up against. But obviously, we will touch on that in the next episode because my brain's not working quick enough to get the bracket up there and go through the bracket. But this has been the Eels versus Storm preview. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, and Baxter, I'll see you soon for the Bulldogs Eagles.
Peace.